The Halloween party of Squid Game, Season 2, Episode 2. Now, I'm just going to start off by saying that this episode got me like 10 times more interested in what's to come than episode 1 did. Like, for me, like, I started to kind of get invested when, like, the recruiter showed up, but he didn't really intrigue me as much as he did in Season 1, so it's like, eh. But I feel like episode 2 had, I don't want to say like more layers to it, but it had, more spunk to it. It had more, I guess you could say more layers to it that kind of helps you get invested in what's to come. Like, for example, like the sister that I have in the thumbnail. I'd say she was one of the big factors that really intrigued me this episode. Now, she's not like my favorite character or anything, but her inclusion in what's to come, I think, is it helps the plot moving forward. It does. Um, I thought she was one of, if not the best highlight of this episode, if you want to call her that. Personally, I think the best part of this episode was when for me the best part of the episode is when they kind of when they shouted out the Matrix in a way, where they brought up the red pill and the blue pill and how like they chose the red pill to I forgot what they said, but they basically said that like they basically chose the red pill when the heroes chose to save the world and whatnot, and et cetera, et cetera. So I enjoyed that. I forgot what was completely said there, but I enjoyed that. That was like possibly one of, if not my favorite parts of the episode. Another favorite part of mine was the little girl. Now, I just want to start off by saying whoever her dad is one of the worst dads I've seen in all of television. Like, I get that the guy works there at the amusement park, but why the fuck are you letting your curiosity, like, if you're letting your curious 5-year-old or your curious little daughter to roam around the amusement park with no supervision whatsoever, like that's got to be one of the most irresponsible, dumbest things I think I've ever seen a father do in television in like a good long time. Anyway, but yeah, I like the fact of the switch of when the little girl got candy from the rabbit, and the first time and the second time she didn't because the rabbit wasn't as fond of her as as Kong was. I don't know the last words of her name, but I'm just gonna call her Kong. I believe she is. She's definitely related to the Kong girl in season 1, but I believe that's her mother or her sister. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say her mother, possibly. I don't know. Even though she looks kind of young to be a mother, so I might just go with her sister, maybe. But but yeah, she's related to the girl in the first season with the name, but the last words of her name are kind of different. I forgot what they were, but yeah. Um I believe she's in her 20s. She's down on her luck. She has like this job of basically being a Chuck E. Cheese or Freddy Fazbear type animatronic character, if you want. And she basically goes around appeasing kids because I feel like that's something that she honestly, genuinely likes to do. But her personality doesn't really match the job description that she has. So, but you can definitely tell that she's fond of this little girl, with the strawberry hat on. She's definitely fond of her, and yeah. I also like the part where in the when they were all in the dressing room and the little girl walks in there and they all just go back into character. You really don't see that much commitment in most people's jobs. I'm not gonna lie. Like they got in there, they're all sweaty, they smell like shit, and they just want to take off their costumes and move on with the rest of their day. But as soon as the little girl goes in there, they keep that same persona on. Like I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It goes to show you how much they care, not only about their image, but it goes to show you how much they care about, the I guess you could say like the future and the innocence of that little girl. You know. Uh what else? Oh yeah, the incoherent time skip. I'm gonna be making a separate video on this because this is just fucking dumb. But you want me to believe that the little brother of the same girl I was talking about, Kong, that like the little brother of that same girl that Ji Hun was told to take care of by her. If you still don't know who I'm talking about the girl that was top three. It was her, that business guy, and it was Ji Hun. She told Ji Hun to take care of her little brother, right? And basically, that's what he's kind of done from a distance. But you want me to believe the fact of him becoming 5 years old a year or two prior, then 1 or 2 years later, he grows up and he's all of a sudden 15 years old. I'm like, what the hell? Has a decade passed? Like you couldn't get like a 7 or 8 year old child actor? Like what the hell? Like, bro, it it bothered me at first, but in the end, I kind of calmed down about it. So I'm not gonna go too deep into it. I might not even put up the video. I don't know. Depending on how I'm feeling, I might put up the video. But anyways, so again, one of the most inconsistent time skips I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I know we're not trying for Squid Game season 2, but holy shit, could you not just get like a 6 or 7 or 8 year old child actor that looks like he's a year or two older than the year prior? Or why not just get the same child actor from before and have him act? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, bruh, like there's no way this 5 year old boy grew up like when did Squid Game come out? Like 5 years ago. There's no way he grew up to be 10 years old and look like that. Like, come on, bro. But anyways, uh, I don't know, bro. I don't know. The June Ho stuff. I'm not, the little brother of the front man. I don't really care about him too much. I mean, he's just along for the ride for me. He doesn't really pique my interest that much, but I am looking forward to see what he does in the second encounter with his brother moving forward. If he does meet with him eventually, um, I just want to take the time again to say that the guy who was drawing pictures in the park, the father of the girl with the strawberry hat, one of the worst dads I've seen in television for a good while now. I will continuously say that because how could you leave your child so like ill supervised like that? Like at least have her get a babysitter, my nigga. You're working in this big ass amusement park and you're not watching your daughter, or you're not having someone else watch your goddamn daughter. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's just dumb. Uh what else, man? What else? Uh the part where he put a tracker in his tooth, it made me feel uncomfortable, and it honestly hit me how much he wants to really get, how much he really wants to actually stop the game. Uh the phone call with his daughter, it was nice. It was a nice change of pace, and it really goes to show you how much he's sacrificing just to stop the game instead of being with her. Something that really hurts him right now. Uh and the part where he was talking to the piggy, aka the front man, which I thought was the best part of this entire episode. The Matrix callback. I do love that. Well, not callback, but I guess you could call it a callback. But it was the best part of the episode for me. And yeah, pretty much. They shout out they shout out their tires, and in the end, Jihan basically offered to get back in the game. And at first, many people can see this as being, a dumb tactic or a dumb move. But with the way that Jihan explained it kind of makes sense with him wanting to stop the game from within. on top of him possibly kind of helping people to rebel against, the game. But at the same time, knowing how greedy these people are that actually join the game, it's going to be very difficult for him to actually try and do that. So I can see him either failing or him sacrificing himself to stop the game. I usually when I bet against like a happy ending for the main character, it usually ends up happening. So in the end, I'm just gonna say that Jihan is gonna sacrifice himself to stop the game, and he's gonna go out looking like a hero, even though he hasn't seen his daughter in years now. So, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I'm terrible with the names of the people in Squid Game. If you haven't found out that shit already, except for characters like Jihan and Ilnam, and But yeah. I mean, the show has only just begun, but I feel like some of the new characters are. Actually, I don't want to say anything about that right now. I'm just gonna let it ride, until we reach that last episode. But anyways, that's about it for me. Yours truly, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. The rating. I almost forgot the rating of this episode. Well, if I had to rate this episode out of 10, I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. Maybe a light 8 out of 10, but definitely I would say a better paced episode and a better change of pace from episode 1. Episode 1 bored me to tears, I'm not going to lie to you. And the highest rating I could give it was a 7. So if I had to give this episode a rating, I give it like a 8 out of 10. So, yeah.